you should always have a goal. It's okay if you change that goal at every given time, but you always need to ask yourself, why do you do what you do?
Tomer Cohen, thank you
Let's
for
go.
joining me on 20-Minute Leaders. Good morning.
Thank you for having me, Michael. It's great being here.
It is an honor and a pleasure to have you all the way from the soccer field from a year or two ago, all the way now. Look how far we've come. You see? No, it's really a pleasure to have you here because you have one of those unique journeys that I can't wait to hear your perspective on. Going from from the political scene, from the spokesperson scene, you were very active with various political campaigns like Yesh Atid in Israel, or being the spokesperson of various really important figures, to going to New York and being the chief of staff of the delegation to the UN, and then transitioning into the business sector and running Jobit, helping people find jobs across Israel, and most recently being the CEO of the amazing company BUYME. Tomer, give me a little bit of rundown of that transition. Why go into politics in the first place, and what is the trigger that pushes you more towards business?
Well, I always knew that I wanted to take part in business, but right after the army, I did 5 years of military service, 4 of which in the paratroopers, and then 1 year as in the IDF spokesperson unit. And then when I was done with that, I had the dilemma whether or not I should go to study full time or work full time. And I felt like doing such an amazing things in the army. I felt I want to be part of the action and not only
Right.
go to school and learn. And when I took a look at my sets of skills, and spokesmanship was one of them. I did not know anything about business, entrepreneurship, being a manager, nothing. And when I look around in the Israeli market, I saw that there is an opening in the Israeli Knesset, in the Israeli parliament. And so I started my career there, knowing that eventually I want to move into business. But during that time, I studied my LLB, and I was working in the Israeli parliament. And so again, I knew that that would be the case in the end. Actually, 5 years after I started politics, I wanted to do the transition, and then I got the offer to move to New York and be the, as you said, chief of staff to the Israeli mission to the United Nations. And when that was done, and I came back to Israel, that was like a very natural choice for me.
Right. So tell me a little bit about this spokesperson role, because it's a very unique role that very few people hold. Right. I'm guessing there is not too many spokespeople for the different groups. You've gotten to be spokesperson both for individuals, but you've also gotten to be spokesperson for a whole new political campaign, Yesh Atid. So what is that role, and what are some of the responsibilities that come with it?
Actually, the spokesperson part was I think 18 months of my 7 years career in the political and diplomatic sector. So during those 18 months, as you said, I was a spokesman for an Israeli parliament member, and then a spokesman for, you can say, an Israeli political startup, which was Yesh Atid back in the
Right.
day.
I love
And
that
newly
term. Yeah,
founded
it's such a good
party.
point.
Uh, it was a startup, and it felt that way. A group of young people trying to change the world. And being a spokesperson person is pretty much knowing what is the biggest advantage of the person or the entity you are trying to convey the message into the public, and making sure the public will know the good stuff, the strengths, and make sure that the weaknesses will be left behind. And if for some reason the media try to tackle them, you provide the right answer. So it's basically conveying a message, very similar to marketing in a sense. So I did that for 18 months, as I said, and then I moved into, I will say, being a manager, being someone who gets things done in the political and diplomatic sector. So I was the chief of staff to the Israeli Minister of Science and Technology, former head of Shin Bet, which is the Israel, you can say, FBI. And I learned a lot from him for like almost 2 years. and that prepared me for my, I'll say my biggest role at the UN, which is basically, it's representing our country in the most hostile environment, diplomatic wise, and that was again
That's
an amazing
incredible.
experience as well. Yeah.
So you find yourself in New York, the Israeli mission to the United Nations. Give me the biggest challenge that you had. What was the most difficult thing that you encountered? Because from our industry now, very few people are going to have a chance to experience being in such a difficult diplomatic scene. So paint me a little bit of a picture of what was the most perhaps challenging and also exhilarating part of that whole journey.
So I will try to use an analogy. So imagine you have a startup and you know your product is good. It's amazing. And you need to sell that product to a specific market. And no one in that market is even willing to sit down and have a conversation with you. No one. You find like 2 or 3 good major clients and you sell them your product and they feel very confident about it and they use it and they're happy with it. But then when you try and take that and broaden it and move into the scale mode, you just cannot because no one is even taking the meeting. And in that
Right.
very strange, weird situation, you need to find a way to get people to listen. And that was, I think, the main challenge: get people to listen to you and be willing to learn from what you have to say.
And that's incredible, and I love that analogy. Having a product, knowing that it's good, having some major clients, but others are not, the market is not willing to even sit down and listen to you. I couldn't have said it
Exactly.
better, Tomer. That transition, Jobit, you've ran a few organizations. Now you're running BUYME. If I look at both Jobit and BUYME, they're very similar in the sense of you're making people happy. And it's not in the traditional way of just sending them money or sending them a gift basket, but you're creating opportunities for people. On one hand, you're creating job opportunities. On the other hand, you're creating opportunities for unity, for a company wide partnership, and for people within the company to gift others. So tell me a little bit about why Jobit, and then we'll move on to BUYME.
Sure thing. So when I came back to Israel, I was debating whether or not I should go into a big corporate. I had a few offers from big tech companies in Israel, or should I start something by myself? And I eventually decided to become an entrepreneur and actually found a company. And my main issue was back then that I wanted to make sure that as you said, I do good. I want to make sure that the things I do and the time I spend will have some sort of a good impact on people and hopefully on society as well. So that's when I started Jobit. Jobit is an innovative placement company who puts their effort on helping people grow and manage their career. We
Right.
were focusing on Gen Y and Gen Z. I'm part of that generation, so I can help. I know exactly what they need as far as
Right.
career management is concerned. We love to move around from position to position, from job to job, and
A live walking
doing that for
example.
2 years. Yeah, exactly. And doing that for 2 years, building the company, building the product, the brand, bringing in the team, and building something that is unique in the Israeli ecosystem was an amazing experience. And I felt like I was doing good, and I learned a lot from the process. And Jobit is still up and running. Has a much better CEO than myself right now running it, and they're doing a very good job.
I love that. One of the things that I love about this show is that I get to take people like you that have spent now almost 3 years really becoming an expert on the Gen Y, Gen Z market of job seekers and career seekers. And you get to now teach me in a few minutes everything that you've learned or some things that you've learned over those 3 years. So Tomer, just hit me. What are some insights of Gen Y and Gen Z job seekers in the market?
Well, the way I look at it, and a lot of very smart people did a lot of researches that I had the chance of reading in the States, in Israel. And the main thing I learned is that in the past, when you started a job, that job usually was, again, I love analogies, that job was the book of your professional life. So you started in chapter
Right.
1 and you go from chapter to chapter, and at the end, you can pretty much imagine what will be the minute you start that job. You can pretty much imagine what's going to look like in the end. But our generation is different. The way we act is we act more in a chapter mode. So each time you decide on a certain way you want to tackle your career, and you spend a chapter there if you're doing a good job. So it's like 2 years at a time, and the hard part is finding the connection between the two chapters to make sure that you are always moving forward and not moving to the
Right.
side. And that is why I started Jobit. I wanted to help people manage their career, create a career path that will help them reach their goal. And in most cases, at the beginning, they don't even know what their goal is. The question is, what do you want to do when you grow up, and where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years time, is not part of the conversation. No one ever taught us that this is something we need to plan for. Now, always when I said that, your follow-up question should be, yeah, but how do you know what you want to do when you grow up? The world is full of different possibilities. And my take on that is that you should always have a goal. It's okay if you change that goal at every given time, but you always need to ask yourself, why do you do what you do? Why do you spend your most valuable asset, which is your time, in that particular place doing that particular thing? And that is my main take on our generation. We need to plan ahead and make sure we do what needs to be done in order to achieve our goals.
I couldn't agree more, and I have to follow through with an analogy of my own. I remember about 4 years ago when I was attempting to run a marathon in a lot, and I remember that my coach told me something that really helped me at the end finish it. Was it doesn't really matter, what happens in these 4 hours. You can't plan ahead and say my goal is to finish the marathon in 4 hours. Look at that tree and run those 50 meters. When you get to that tree, reevaluate. Do you want to make another goal for another 50 meters? You probably will, and then you'll make it. If you plan too far and you get stumbled along the way, you lose sight of the bigger picture and how those small steps can be meaningful. And I think that what you've done with the job is so inspiring, and it's helped so many people. That's a true positive impact, because I think that, and I can speak freely for our generation, and I'm a little bit younger than you, so I think that I even feel more. We have no idea where the world is going to end up in 10, 15 years. We've accelerated in 2020 about 10, 15 years in the future already in terms of digitalization. We're going to, and I think McKinsey estimates that we're going to be changing our careers, our core career, about 3 or 4 times along our lifetime, which is insane. And so having a place like Jobit, which can help you consolidate your thoughts, set those milestones, and think more critically about what type of person you want to be, I love it. Tomer, BUYME. You transition from Jobit
Yes.
to BUYME. You're going into an existing company. Tell me why and what is BUYME?
Well, I think the main reason, I'll take it in a different way. First of all, BUYME is an amazing company. It has an amazing technological product who enables people and companies give gifts to the people they care about, and just being part of that kind of an environment is addicting, really. Because as I said at the beginning, we do a lot of good. In BUYME, in our platform, in every less than a minute, a gift is being sent to someone. And that's amazing. The reason I did the transition in, besides the opportunity to emerge, and I was approached to take part in this company, is basically, I think, the scale. So Jobit is an amazing company with an amazing cause, but it was relatively small scale back then. And today, BUYME is like, I think, I don't know, 10 or 15 or 20 times bigger in employees, impact, P&L, everything that is concerned with managing the company. And I love mechanisms. Okay, I'm a manager, and I love setting up mechanism who can create an impact on people, on the people I manage, my employees, my team. And that opportunity, when it emerged, I had no doubt that this should be my next chapter relating to my former things.
I love it. So you mentioned that BUYME is about gifting, and every minute somebody gets a gift, which is, by the way, incredible. And I can, at the end, when we talk about entrepreneurship, I think that at the end it comes down to what can make you feel fulfilled to sleep at night well. And I would love going to sleep knowing that I'm running a company whose product is that every single minute somebody is getting a happy gift and is putting a smile on their face. What is this gifting process, and why is it different or innovative from the traditional gifting where I can call Zero for You or a flower shop and just send a gift basket to my employees, which was how it was done, 5-10 years ago traditionally?
Yeah. So BUYME has been around for about 8 years. And back then, when they started the company, the original entrepreneurs, together with a business group called Telecloud, who is actually the owner of BUYME today, that was exactly the question people asked them: why do I need this? There's a lot of different opportunities and possibilities to give people gifts and employees gifts. And the answer was that our generation is different. We want to have the ability to choose our gifts. And you saw
Right.
more and more people, the private sector, and even in the business sector, instead of giving gifts to people, they started giving money. If it's holidays, yeah, you can buy whatever you want. If it's in the workplace, yeah, you'll just get a this or that bonus at the end of the month because you did a good job, or even if you have
Right.
a birthday. And the reason is that the essence of being able to choose is very important. And this is our generation. This is the time we're living in, 2020, and back then 2012. And BUYME saw that, and using technology, we have an R&D center of about 20 employees. Yeah, using technology, we were able to connect more than 1,200 businesses all across Israel, and using
Wow.
one unique code, you were able to use that gift in any one of those 1,200 businesses. And BUYME, started the process of getting people more and more adjusted and into this new way of giving gifts and making people happy. And today we have about 5,000 business customers, business clients, companies who give gifts to about 1 million Israelis. And we actually started like 3 years ago our private sector platform in which we have hundreds of thousands of Israelis who give gifts to the people they care about, whether it's birthday, someone gave birth, holidays, etc. And the ability to do something that is personal, meaning you can use our platform and send them a video, a photo. You can obviously you write them a very personal something that they will know what you think about them and why you're giving them this particular present. And all of this created a personal process in which people are receiving gifts and are happy to use them. And it's amazing.
I think that's remarkable, and it's one of the things I'm always very curious about this transition, because effectively, you could say, here, just take money, use that money as the global currency to buy whatever you want. But money is not a gift, right? Money is not personal. Money is not there's no emotions connected to money. Yet you're creating this currency that is emotional, that is connected to the gift process of saying, I appreciate you. I'm not just giving you a bonus, but I'm appreciating you for all the hard work and for the person that you are. And you're allowing that currency to be translated into all these businesses. And I think that's just just a smart and innovative way of thinking about our culture and
It's
the
even
new
more,
traditions.
the currency is even more than a gift. The currency, and the term we use, is an experience. We give you the chance to get a positive experience
Right.
in your life. Not many people, not many companies can say they do exactly that. It doesn't matter if you get a gift card and you choose to use it buy something in a H&M. Okay, you can use it to whatever. You can go to a luxury restaurant. You can go to a vineyard. You can do a tour in Tel Aviv and enjoy the scene. You can do a lot of different things. But again, at the essence is you give a gift, which is actually an experience, and you create positive moments in the people in the people you care about life. And again, that's amazing.
I love it. Positive impact on the people, positive impact on the businesses. I just love it. Tomer, thank you so much for being so generous with your time. This was just amazing. And I love that I finally got to learn about, your past life which is a full life on its own for the average person. So it's really remarkable. So thank you for everything that you've done for Israel. Thank you for everything you're doing now for the economy and for job seekers in the younger generations, and for gifting to people all over Israel and eventually the world. Before we leave, I have the final question, which is 3 words that you would use to describe yourself.
Well, I did not think ahead, so let's just do this. The first word is tour, but I combined them with a dash, so that's fine. I think is do
Of
good.
course, do good.
Good. The second word is plan, and as I said, always have a plan ahead. And the third word, which is actually the first word, if I had to be completely honest, family.
I love that. And anybody who's in touch with you and follows on social media, and you can see the pictures behind you. I mean, beautiful kids. Congratulations on building such a beautiful family, and thank you for being such an inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me, Michael. Thank you.